Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Charting Man Dan of the Chart Guys. I've been trading for the last 13 years, trading crypto for the last 6, and we got a bounce to talk about. And we're going to talk about in this video some of the altcoins, what Bitcoin currently is doing, the dollar, as I keep saying, the dollar is key, and we're also going to talk about the way to set up a trade game plan using an example.
Thanks for the heads up. Echo gone. All right, I'm Dan. We're going to talk about trade setups and how we use trade setups. And it's a simple concept, but there are so many things that people overlook. Number one, every single trade needs an entry, a stop level, and a sell target. That's a standard. A lot of people don't do that. In my opinion, I don't know any full-time traders that don't do that. So just keep that in mind. Number two, identifying, this goes in with the stop loss, identifying what negates your thesis for the trade. I think this is going to happen. I think Bitcoin is going to confirm a 4-hour inverse head and shoulders. What would negate that? Increasing bear volume on the 15-minute time frame. Dollar strength. Broader market weakness. These are all things that would be points in favor of what I think is shaping up. We have to have invalidation points where we clearly say I'm wrong. Because if you have something as a vague setup, I think Bitcoin's going to go up. Okay, well, what if it drops 5%? You're then going to rationalize. If you do not have a clear level that invalidates your thesis, you're going to rationalize and say, well, yeah, but I still think it's going to go up in the fall. Or I still think it's going to go up for the halving. And then you just start making excuses, and now your emotional brain is taking over, and your emotional brain is really great at losing you money. It's almost like it's designed to do that. And so we have to retrain our brains. And so in this example, we have the Bitcoin bounce daily. The daily bounce is finally underway. Finally underway. So here's an example, and this is why I love trading with a team, because we've been watching for these crypto stocks to bounce because they've been in free fall, daily stair-step drop 10 days in a row and oversold. And so we're looking for them to bounce. We know Bitcoin has to bounce if they're going to get any bounce follow through. So we have last night in our chat room, Steve, shout out Steve, posting, I deleted his picture and put it in his thread to keep it nice and organized, but if Bitcoin can get the daily bounce going, Riot hourly falling wedge is shaping up. My phone is annoying me and vibrating in my pocket. So if Bitcoin can get the bounce going, a Riot hourly falling wedge is shaping up. So let's check in on Riot. And obviously at this point, it's gone really well. They've broken bullish. This is exactly what the bulls wanted to see. But we had a discussion the day before. We're planning in advance. We're putting in the time and the effort to plan the trade. And okay, so if that breaks bullish, it's a bullish pattern. But what would that look like on Bitcoin? What do we need to see happening? We know we need to see dollar weakness, but at that point in time, we had just seen this bounce in Bitcoin, but we know we have a lot of work to do. So we're having this discussion probably right around here. And so my contribution is the ideal setup is for Bitcoin to top out overnight and set a 4-hour high or low at the stock market open and then confirm the trend change. And the reason that would be the ideal setup is because if you don't have a position, you don't want the Bitcoin to run away overnight while you don't have a position. You want it to pull back, set the 4-hour high or low, knowing that Bitcoin has not confirmed a 4-hour uptrend at any point on these bounce attempts. And if that were to happen today, that would be things are different. Things are different than they've been on any bounce attempt for the last week. And that is me laying out the ideal scenario. And when we get the ideal scenario shaping up, that can dictate, number one, if we take the trade, but number two, how aggressive do we want to be? Maybe it's a larger position size if it's exactly as we want to see it. The 4-hour high or low was set pretty much right before the market opened. And so we then got that strength, we got NASDAQ strength, we got dollar weakness, and all of those things led to a bunch of chart guys playing these daily bounces in Riot and MARA. And so now that Bitcoin has confirmed, we're now going to go into the technical analysis aspect. But again, the takeaway from all of that is lay out the ideal scenario of what the trade setup would look like in advance. And then if that is shaping up, you know you're good to go. And if that is not shaping up, you know there's red flags. And you could say to yourself, this is not how I wanted this trade to be shaping up. I'm not going to take it. But this is exactly what bulls wanted to see. And so now at this point, Bitcoin is definitely a bit overextended in the short-term time frames. The 30-minute RSI got up to 80, 15-minute RSI over 80. So we're due for 15-minute consolidation here. We're going to watch to see if EMA 12 holds. And now we're playing the zoom out game on the bull side. We were playing the zoom out game on the bear side for a 4-hour lower high bounce, an hourly lower high bounce. So now we're playing it on the bull side. And the next thing that I need to see is continuation of this 4-hour uptrend. We know the most likely result of this bounce is a daily lower high. And I'm watching daily EMA 12 as one of my guides that I'm always keeping an eye on. And I'm watching the 4-hour uptrend because I know that losing the 4-hour uptrend is the first indication that a daily lower high is being set. And so I'm also going to be watching for bearish patterns. If we see a 4-hour uptrend that then starts to look like a rising wedge, I'm going to make note of that and watch for the daily top to be set. If we see a 4-hour head and shoulders shape up, I'm going to be watching for the daily lower high to shape up. We are just hitting hourly overbought. This technically is a back burner, first hourly overbought conditions on the bounce attempt. So watching for the possibility that we see some short-term consolidation here. And one thing to keep in mind with these crypto stocks is nice bounce. Daily lower high is the most likely result of this bounce. And we haven't confirmed hourly uptrends yet. So what has to happen into tomorrow is the hourly higher low and higher high if this bounce is going to follow through. And that means obviously the Bitcoin bounce needs to follow through as well. So good start. The bulls want to hold 26.3 on any back test. 26.3 was a resistance zone that the bears defended. Look at all these tops here on the bounce attempt. And so ideally, the bulls want to hold that next time we back test it. So if we consolidate on the hourly here, bulls want to see an hourly high or low holding that level to stay in full control. Other than that, we've got what? The dollar. So now what can keep this bounce going? What can help this bounce follow through? The dollar 12-hour rising wedge is trying to break bear. I need to see a break of 103. If 103 breaks on the dollar, that to me is an indication that weekly consolidation is likely shaping up. And again, the last time we had I'm not saying this is going to be a bear trap on Bitcoin. And by bear trap, I just mean back here in March. But in March, we rolled over, big red flags. Uh-oh, we're heading back to the fear lows. Oh my goodness, game over. Told you, say the bears. V-shape. How did that move come out of nowhere? Well, part of it, one piece of the puzzle, March 10th. When did the dollar top out? Dollar topped out March 8th. It started daily consolidation the 9th. And then we pulled back for 5 weeks. And so the dollar was consolidating for 5 weeks while Bitcoin smashed higher. So what the bulls in crypto really want to see is the dollar lose 103 and pull back for multiple weeks. Then we're going to have to worry about, can the bulls confirm a weekly uptrend in the dollar? That would be significant if the bulls pull that off. But first things first, weekly stair step, higher low every week, 6 weeks in a row. Are we shaping up weekly consolidation? If we are, that increases the probability that Bitcoin can see a bigger bounce. Then we're going to have to be cautious of a weekly head and shoulders. I'm looking a bit far in advance right now. We're going to take it one day at a time as always. But if the dollar pulls back for 2 weeks and then confirms a weekly uptrend, that's going to be Bitcoin potentially confirming a head and shoulders on the weekly. So keep tuning in because I'm going to be constantly talking about the broader market, the dollar, and Bitcoin over the next week as we watch these things shape up. I'm going to be talking about them all forever. Who am I kidding? But over the next month, we're talking about them a lot. So bounce underway. Let's see if the bulls can keep that control. Also, we have to keep in mind, we are no longer oversold on any time frames. So just be aware that a daily lower high is likely going to eventually form. Another thing the bulls want to see, along with holding 26.3 on a back test, hold 4-hour EMA 12 next 4-hour consolidation. After rejecting from it, rejecting, now you want to hold it. Look at the NASDAQ. This is the NASDAQ futures chart. I love EMA 12. Rejection, struggling a little bit. All right, we're finally over it. Back test, hold, see ya. Hold the back test. Turn resistance into support. That's what Bitcoin wants to see on the 4-hour as well. So again, we can lay out a checklist. If this bounce is going to shape up ideally for Bitcoin, I want to see 26.3 hold the initial test, the back test. I want to see 4-hour EMA 12 hold the next time we pull back and test it. If those things do not hit the check mark, that's a little bit of a red flag for the bulls. And that is how we shape probabilities. Probabilities the bounce can continue need those check marks. ETH, bounce underway as well, has not broken the bounce highs yet. The bounce highs right around 1700, 1690s. And here we are topping out at that level. ETH BTC, I keep talking about this level on the daily. This is a quadruple top. ETH is not the better choice if you're looking long as this is resistance. Get over this, and we can say things are changing a bit here, and this is the first time that ETH has been the better choice over Bitcoin if we confirm this daily uptrend and break this quadruple top. So keep an eye on that resistance for ETH BTC, which we've been struggling at for 2 months. A couple other altcoins here. OP has been a big-time bounce leader. Look at this move. OP started the daily bounce 5 days before Bitcoin and kept it going. OP is trying to keep the monthly bounce going, and it is still a weekly uptrend. Weekly support was 109. We held 121. So OP is a name. When we lose this daily stair step of a higher low every single day, we're going to be watching for a daily higher low to form to try and confirm the daily uptrend. OP BTC is showing us that it is approaching the strongest it's been relative to Bitcoin in the last almost 3 months. So OP is definitely on the bull side of the altcoin list. Another way to compare individual names on the altcoins, who hit daily lower lows here and who formed daily higher lows. Atom, barely, but it did hit a daily lower low. OP, obviously no lower low. XRP, no lower low. It's trying the higher low. Can XRP confirm the daily uptrend for a weekly higher low to try and shape up? And it's not a weekly higher low. I take that back. We broke support. XLM is trying to shape up a weekly higher low. Off EMA 12. Can XLM confirm the daily uptrend by breaking 13.2? That would be a significant win for the bulls for the first time. We've been setting daily lower highs ever since we topped out on the pump. That would be the first time it shifts if we confirm the daily uptrend. So what would be a red flag? If I want to look long on XLM, if we drop down and break 11.7, that's a red flag. I can use that level as a stop. Someone that wants a looser stop is going to use the low. But if my trade thesis is we're going to confirm a daily uptrend from here and set that weekly higher low, if we lose that support, that tells me I'm wrong. Nope, you were wrong. So again, lay out your plan and lay out what would invalidate what you think is the most likely scenario and what you are establishing your trade game plan based off of. Bitcoin is still clinging to 5-minute EMA 12 support here. Still keeping control. The NASDAQ pulling back a bit. Bitcoin holding on a little bit better than the NASDAQ. Rune. We talked about the Rune 6-hour equilibrium last live stream. High, low, lower high, higher low, lower high. Bear break at 160. Not a ton of follow through. About 4 or 5%. Enough to be risk-free, ideally, to take partial profit. And we are technically still in a downtrend, but I would call this a bear break with no follow through, which means zoom out and we might just be setting a quick daily higher low. And the other factor here is that bear break led to hourly oversold. Nope, I take that back. We already hit hourly oversold. But it's a 6-hour bear break with no follow through. So possibly setting up that daily higher low off EMA 12 support. And currently a daily inside bar. Rune has a lot of space for a daily lower high to be the result of the next bounce. Anything under 203. So if the bulls do follow through from here in Bitcoin, which translates into altcoin bounce follow through, we'll keep an eye out for a tightening daily range. I think someone just rang my doorbell. I'm going to go check real quick and tell them to go away. All right, family visiting. They're in. All right, what altcoins you all want to talk about? Or anything. We can talk about anything. NVIDIA reports after hours today. Worth keeping an eye on for the reaction in the broader market. We didn't talk about broader market. So NASDAQ bulls are doing great. I mean, this is the ideal bounce off of the gap down open to end last week. Because what we're shaping up now for the NASDAQ is enough space for a daily trend change attempt. So this is going to be an inverse head and shoulders attempt when we top out from here. And if we confirm the daily uptrend from here, then it's all about the weekly. And I've been talking about this a lot. Those of you on the email list, I sent out a long-term video, 10-minute video talking about, where we're heading in Q4. There's two very distinct paths, and it's all going to be centered around whether bears confirm a weekly downtrend or not. Because if bears fail to confirm a weekly downtrend, the NASDAQ is a monthly cup and handle. And people are already laughing at me saying, monthly cup and handle on the NASDAQ, you must be crazy. Well, people also laughed at me when we were looking for the 4-month higher low. You have to be prepared for both scenarios. We'll see. We'll know a lot more by the end of September, we're going to have a lot more information as to where we're headed to start 2024. Bitcoin, 12-hour EMA 12. Currently testing it. Whenever you're looking at a level to see if it matters, go back and look historically. And so I look at the 12-hour EMA 12 for Bitcoin, and we dipped below it, and then we're back above it, back below it, back above it, below. I don't see it acting as a clear guide. I want to see something that's clearly acting as resistance for a long time or support for a long time, and then ideally, like the NASDAQ is doing on the 4-hour, then when it's in the opposite direction, respecting it in the opposite direction. So for me, the 12-hour EMA 12 doesn't have that, doesn't have enough. It comes into play for sure, but less so for me than the other ones that I use more often, 4-hour, daily, etc. Hey, metabolic. Agree, Commando. Thanks for the likes. Doge. So Doge had a spike on Musk doing whatever Musk is doing. Said something about Twitter or X is a Doge-friendly place. And so Doge did confirm the daily uptrend. So what does that mean? That means we now zoom out and scout a weekly lower high to be the result of this bounce. It's just a weekly inside bar. But Let's see, what would be required here for Doge to make a significant shift? I mean, really, we got to get all the way back up to 838. That's what it's going to boil down to. It's possible we trade within this range for a very long time. We've got to get back over 838 for things to significantly shift. But as far as the reaction to Musk, there it is. I mean, it's getting more and more muted, right? Remember when we used to react for hours when Musk talked about Doge? And now it lasts 5 minutes, if that. Less than 5 minutes. And then we give most of it back. So just be aware that it's not what it used to be. Andre is joining the chart, guys. Come on down. QNT. So I'm going to look at all these altcoins just compared to Bitcoin because we now know what Bitcoin's doing. It's bouncing on the daily. So QNT. Are we stronger or weaker? We had a good bit of strength. Ooh, is this a cup and handle? Keep an eye on that. Bulls really want this to be a bull flag, although we're at the consolidation low, so it's less likely. So here's probabilities, right? This is a cup and handle potential setup. There's our bull flag. We fail and break support. So the probability that that's a cup and handle now significantly diminishes for me because we failed and confirmed a little downtrend. But as far as QNT is concerned, it's got a potential daily uptrend trying to shape up. Look at that daily EMA 12 brick wall. So we've got to hold. This needs to be the higher low, 97.4. If it's not, that's a red flag. We've got to hold that level and break 101.30 to confirm the daily uptrend. And that has to happen because otherwise we are weak and we just hit 10-month lows. So the burden is on bulls. We got to confirm the daily uptrend, then we zoom out, then we have to confirm a weekly uptrend. We haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend since we topped out in January. So a lot of work, one time frame at a time. MARA, as I mentioned, the daily bounce is underway. We know a daily lower high is going to be the most likely result of this bounce. But tomorrow, we must confirm an hourly uptrend. We are coming from the low here. There's a base of support, 1084, 1088, 1085, but we must see the hourly higher low and higher high to confirm to us that this bounce can follow through. Because bears are just waiting for the daily lower high, and obviously a lot's going to be dictated by when Bitcoin tops out as well. But this is day one of the bounce and of the stair step. Stair step break was 1134, quick 4.5% from that. I want to check back in on Bitcoin. Just for the short term here. Just confirmed, on the verge of confirming the 5-minute downtrend. Zoom out. We're going to watch 15-minute EMA 12 for a higher low attempt. NASDAQ bears will have to confirm a 5-minute downtrend here if consolidation is going to be for real. Find your guide. QQQ this morning, my guide was, I'm not looking bearish if 2-minute EMA 12 is support. Held it, held it, held it, held it. We're extended, but we keep holding it. Not looking short if that is support. Same thing for Bitcoin. I'm not looking long if 4-hour EMA 12 is resistance. That could have been your mindset. And now we're finally above it. So find something, what I call the character of the chart. Identify something that's been a pattern for a fairly significant amount of time, depending what time frame you're looking at, and then you make note of when that changes. And that's what a daily stair step is. Lower high every single day for MARA, 10 days in a row. Now that we've broken that, we can say things are different with today's trading. They are different than they've been for the last 10 trading days. And it's just a little light bulb that flashes. Something is different. TSAT, I don't know this one. TSAT. No, we're not looking at stocks. Again, I look at stocks all day, every day. I live streamed for an hour and a half this morning with the chart guys, talking about stocks all day. These are crypto live streams. I incorporate some of the broader market. I'm going to talk about stocks again in the end of the day video here in a couple hours. So if you want to talk stocks, come on into the chat room because we're talking about it 24/7. Joey does not have a live stream at the moment. Got to get him on that. What has the largest influence on price of Bitcoin? Supply and demand. Is the NASDAQ, that's a good question. Is the NASDAQ divided by QQQ? No, is the NASDAQ divided by Bitcoin still worth paying attention to? I don't really get a whole lot of information here anymore. We can see the NASDAQ has had relative strength. I like the other way. I like Bitcoin divided by the NASDAQ. But in short, the answer is no. I mean, we're weaker than the NASDAQ. We know that much. It's been that case for a long time here. And so, you know, when you have things like NVIDIA and Tesla stock, if the NASDAQ is stronger than Bitcoin, and I'm a trader, you know, I'm bringing my money into those names over Bitcoin as long as that is the case. So you definitely, if you're a Bitcoin bull, you want to see this chart going up, showing that Bitcoin is stronger than the NASDAQ, but that has not happened in a while. I mean, we topped out April 10th compared to the NASDAQ, whereas Bitcoin didn't top out until, I mean, that's a clue. Bitcoin hits a higher high, and from April 10th, yet Bitcoin divided by the NASDAQ didn't come anywhere near getting to its most relative strength. So maybe you can use it like we use pairings, like we use altcoin, Bitcoin pairings for clues in relative strength and weakness. Maybe you can use Bitcoin divided by NASDAQ in that same way. Although I have not been using it recently. Upcoming setup of trades that I'm keeping an eye on. I mean, I'm in an MARA short right now. Might be time to cover a little bit into 15-minute EMA 12. Just recognize the rising wedge right before going live. And I have a little bit of Riot long. So rather than selling my Riot long, because I want to let the bounce play out a little bit, pretty much a hedge short of MARA. Other than that, trades I'm looking for, going to be scouting daily lower highs eventually in the broader market here tomorrow. But have to see signs that the hourly uptrend is being lost to be looking for daily consolidation. I'm going to talk about that a lot at the end of the day video. Psychology behind setups are critical for understanding things. So here's another example, back to the NASDAQ. Psychology here made me not fight the bulls this morning. Why? Because I knew bears were caught by surprise. How do I know bears are caught by surprise? Because yesterday's candle off daily EMA 12 for the fourth rejection, knowing a daily lower high is the most likely scenario, yesterday, bearish was the direction to be looking. Hands down. No doubt about it. Bearish was the direction to be looking. Some names gapped up a second day in a row in downtrends, and the bears had control of the day, and we closed weak. And so I went through the broader market video yesterday, and everything was saying daily consolidation is coming. Daily consolidation is coming. Every little clue that I was looking at. And then I got to the end of the video, and I looked at this 4-hour, and I said, well, I mean, we could hold this back test to 4-hour EMA 12, and if we bounce off this overnight, that's going to catch a lot of shorts by surprise. And so I couldn't say that's the most likely scenario, but this move didn't surprise me today because I knew if this hourly or if this equilibrium breaks bull, anybody that shorted yesterday is underwater. And they should have been shorting yesterday. I was looking short yesterday because that was the right direction to be looking. And so it was just the bears looking for that to be the temporary top before rolling over for multiple days. And the bull said, not so fast. I'm a trap you bears, and that's why the Nasdaq's up, 1.6% today. Is a lot of that is short covering from bears that jumped in yesterday. That's psychology around this setup. So if you show me QQQ, on its own, a straight up move like this, if I don't know that psychological setup for today after yesterday, then I'm probably trying to short that. But I know the bears are trapped, and I know that's I hesitate to use the word short squeeze, but it's a mini short squeeze where bears from yesterday were forced to exit because of the bullish strength today. And so that's an example where the psychology of the setup can give you useful information. Twitter is a tool. So X, I guess we got to call it X. I'm never going to call it X. It's Facebook and Twitter. So Dustin avoids social media at all costs, but he thinks he needs to get on Twitter to utilize it the way that I do. I've been curating my Twitter for 5 years. Meaning every day I'm on there, I'm muting people, I'm following people, I'm blocking people, I'm interacting with people. If I ever have, people in our chat room will post big spike on XYZ stock. Any news? I instantly go to Twitter, I type in the ticker, I go to most recent, and then I look down, and I generally will find the news right away. There's a ton of BS on there, but there is definitely useful information as well. But it takes the time and effort. I mean, you got to curate your tool. Coin is not important when talking about crypto, no. Talking about Coinbase, the company, and things that they may be doing, sure, potentially fundamentally speaking, but the price of coin has no bearing on crypto, in my opinion. I don't use MA200. Doesn't mean it's not worthwhile, but I just don't use it. Riot and MARA have not confirmed hourly uptrends yet. Have not written a book. I don't have any time. I would dictate something to someone, but I wouldn't write my own. Need to check if I need to take some profit in this short. So Bitcoin heading towards 15-minute EMA 12. MARA is already there. NASDAQ is trying to confirm the 5-minute downtrend into hourly consolidation. We'll take some partial profit. We'll talk about NASDAQ resistance in the end of the day video. All right, we're done talking about crypto, it seems, so I'm done. Again, stocks all day. Chat room, live streams, end of day videos. This is crypto time. Appreciate you all tuning in. Watch those back tests on Bitcoin. Got to ensure that we follow through on this bounce. Let's go back to the daily. All right, what do we need on Bitcoin? We need a 50% retracement for the bulls to impress us. That's a long way away. 27.5. 27.5 for a 50% retracement to create the space where a daily trend change attempt is then the most likely scenario. As of this moment, a bear flag is still a possible scenario here, which is why we've got to keep following through and holding EMA support back tests and seeing continuation up from there. All right. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to do good things. Come watch the end of the day video if you want to talk about stocks. And like the video.